Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and the D&D alignments is what I'm here to assert. Now you might be thinking, is he rhyming? What is the reason? Why, there's a simple explanation. It's Christmas season! Today we have something of a special treat, something I hope you'll find real neat. Not one, not two, but 3 movies will take a peek to find out who is the nastiest and who is the most meek. But I won't be alone today, for this list I shall tear. If only there was someone that could help!
Don't worry, everybody. CritCrab is here.
Welcome back, my crab friend. It's great you're my companion.
No problem, my man. Let's do this collaboration. 3 pro tags in 3 movies, each of them seemingly naughty. They all have their strengths, except the one that's kinda shoddy.
But let's not jump ahead, my good crustacean friend. Before we all get really heated, I think some background is needed. Written by the great Dr. Seuss, and a story for all ages, The Grinch tells of a great heist. It's all on these pages. The Grinch is a name given to this daunting creature. Someone who is tall, green, and furry, all parts of their features. Not much is known about his origin or lore, but really, to delve into that anyway would be a bit of a bore.
The Grinch hates Christmas. It's the only detail that matters. And when his neighbors celebrated it, they drove him absolutely batters. So then, one year, while looking upon the Who Town, the Grinch got an idea and thought, I'll take Christmas down. He disguised himself, that clever, stealing shrew, as Santa Claus, and he went all in a slew.
And so the Grinch steals Christmas, though each telling its own fun iteration. Some honor it with a great retelling, while others commit obliteration. There's the Chuck Jones version, made in 1966. It's considered perfect. There's nothing wrong to fix. This Grinch is a grouch. He skims and he scowls. Down he looks from atop his mountain. Down on the Who's house. He minds his own business, choosing to keep himself busy with his inner thoughts and ideas until Christmas throws him in a tizzy. He keeps to himself all day, never seeking to relinquish his stay. After all, he only dislikes Christmas cheer, being only been described as just a little queer. So even though it may be controversial, we'll start his alignment at true neutral.
Next is the live-action version, which many of you, I'm sure, are nostalgic. His personality, however, left the Who's an experience more traumatic. We learn of the Grinch's origins, the details of his birth. Turns out he was an outcast. His appearance determined his worth. So he lashed out and fought against the children's Whojection. He left the Who's world, no longer wanting love or Whofection. This Grinch is a prankster, sawing traffic lights and Who lighteners, committing crimes left and right, and despite the light tone, he's quite the frightener. This Grinch is greedy, also nasty and rude. He doesn't fit in Whoville, constantly crashing their mood. Granted, he's not a monster. Grinch saves this man's daughter. He was bullied severely as a child, though he should still be mild. His heart's as small as a weevil, so he is firmly chaotic evil.
And lastly, there's a Grinch, who was made on the cheap. This movie's by Illumination. Not gonna lie, it puts me to sleep. This Grinch is so boring, so bland, and so toothless. Honestly, he needs some fire. He could be a bit more ruthless. Granted, the movie is pretty, especially here at night, but this character's so weird, they just don't get it quite right. Like them, he stays in his home. Like them, he prefers to be alone. Like the others, he has a pet dog. Like the others, he lives in a slog. Like a doodle, but a little psychotic. Like a neutral, but a bit more chaotic.
So who do you think will be the worst? Write your guesses down below. And with that out of the way,
let's go!
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Look at this! We open with a song most nat 20. As that old Grinch preps for his Christmas spelunky, he conscripts his dog into his dark plans. This is neutral evil. He doesn't even have hands.
You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch.
a montage? Again? Didn't we just plan the big heist? Either way, multiple dings, chaotic evil, thrice.
He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick.
Covering his tracks, the Grinch deceives a small child. But compared to his other crimes, this isn't that wild. Look, he even treats her well, so give him some credit.
You know, nowadays, this would be considered good. On Reddit.
Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
At the top of Mount Crumpet, the Grinch has a change of heart. Realizing he would lose the presents, he dives and begins a new start.
The way of the gifts leaves him falling and disheveled.
Luckily for our hero, he gained a few levels.
Do we give him 3 dings? I honestly can't say.
I think we should. His heart grew 3 sizes that day.
And with that cop-out, the Grinch returns, Christmas promoting.
Ah, Stuart, where's your sense of fun?
Relax, I'm only joking.
With the presents returned and his heart in redemption, we end with a lawful good. He redeems his transgression.
Welcome Christmas while we stand, heart to heart and hand in hand.
Why touch it? Touch the door. Do it for me, Stu.
Look, the Grinch is just defending his lair against some no-good teens thinking they're lady slayers. This is neutral, no need to get medieval.
But what about when he starts vandalizing the town?
Oh, definitely chaotic evil.
Now, we did say a bit ago that this Grinch wasn't without honor, but upon further reflection, if it wasn't for Max, she'd be a goner. So for the coercion and this weird tsundere reaction, we'll mark this chaotic neutral with only a slight redaction.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
The Grinch spends his free time alone in his mountain home. Honestly, this is pretty neutral. He even checks for requests on his phone.
Although this quickly ends, once songs play that are hypnotic, he creates noise to drown it out. He becomes quite neurotic.
Without playing 10 minutes of movie filler, the Grinch bounces all around. A bit of a dally-diller. Cindy Lou invited the Grinch to receive an award, but instead he sends her home, back to the Who horde. He wants to go, truly and surely, so Max decides Fulham, pulling the lever, demurely.
Although we really shouldn't skip this yodeling mugging.
Ugh, fine, chaotic evil, just so the comments will stop bugging.
You didn't tell me about the chair!
Please, Mr. Grinch.
The Grinch is forced to have fun in this celebration. He's put in the chair of cheer, much to his vexation. Stuffed with food and fun, he goes along with a smile. Granted, it's had at the expense of this child. I'd like to think the cheermeister role was working. That was until the Grinch started twerking. But even then, he was goaded, a bit you see, at the hands of the mayor, who mocked him openly. The Grinch gets 2 alignments for this event. Chaotic neutral for the fun, and then evil for this segment.
Good thing we have a spare!
Learning that the Who's Christmas spirit could not be dampened, the Grinch throws his dog out in a grumpy tantrum. After that thought, he receives some inspiration to sing a Nat 20 song and steal their Christmas vacation.
And so another montage begins where Max is recruited. The Grinch invades Whoville, where he then pillages undisputed. Just like last time, we ding him chaotic and evil ×3. But this includes when he lies to Cindy Lou about their Christmas tree.
Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more.
At the top of Mount Crumpet, the Grinch gains some perspective, and to be honest, this is neutral good, 3 times with his heart's reflective. But, one more for good measure, he dives for gifts with practical poise. But uh-oh, he realizes, there's more at risk than just toys.
With a great heft of strength, he lifts the sleigh clean up, and then rides back to Whoville and confesses lawful good straight up.
Welcome Christmas, Christmas Day.
You're mean one. You really are a hero.
And to wrap up our movies, here's one that's slightly less fun. Despite how great the animation is, this song's a Nat 1.
How much emotional eating have I been doing?
The Grinch eats his feelings. Chaotic neutral.
Wait, aren't you gonna make that rhyme?
Why even bother? Making this movie fun would be futile.
It can't be that bad. Surely something is in this worthwhile.
Dude, I watched this drunk and didn't even crack a smile.
Oh, hello. Happy holiday.
Look, he's just another Who man in this movie. He goes shopping, uses public services, and walks around. Openly! And this Who beast dung that makes him seem like a millennial. Makes those first 3 actions neutral and completely menial.
Better make at least one chaotic. He's still a bit of a jerk. With these actions here and there, he's kinda mean to the clerk.
All right, I'm sorry.
After an altercation with his loving dog, the Grinch apologizes. Neutral good.
17, 18, 19, and 20.
Well, this one certainly seems deadly. The Grinch prepares a catapult. Chaotic evil clearly.
Yeah, but nothing comes of it. This just makes him weary.
Here we are. The Legend of Santa Claus.
He does his research and prep work and he recruits a reindeer. He even steals a sleigh from his neighbor, a chaotic evil cavalier. Though later that night, he lets his team rest their heads.
Neutral good, though you shouldn't let your pet sleep in your bed.
Go get shoe.
While prepping for his heist, they encounter a dear family. The Grinch releases their helper, a tender moment, though done quite hammily.
Credit where credit is due, I suppose. This animation is gorgeous, I will concede.
Is this what I think it is?
Yeah, Nat 20 scene!
Much like last time, the Grinch pulls off a legendary caper, leaving nothing left in the houses, not even Who toilet paper.
But I do feel like there's a misstep, something that needs debatement. This movie frames this theft like a political statement. With this narration on capitalism and consumerism, it's an odd switch, and coming from Illumination, that's real fucking rich.
It's still chaotic evil, 3 times for the home stretch.
I know, I just wanted to bitch.
If you close your eyes and listen, all of your sadness just goes away.
We get to Cindy's house, where we converge with the B-plot, where she gives Santa a special request, putting him on the spot.
With a few words that kids her age just wouldn't be speaking, she turns his whole life around. This movie must be tweaking. Later, the Grinch pushes up the mountain, the results of his great haul, to let gravity handle the rest and let it all fall.
But before he could finish the final phase of his plan, a chorus began, down on the square of the Who's land. With their joy and singing, he began to feel love.
Just a bit more, folks. We're almost done.
His heart began to swell 3 sizes in all, just like his alignment, 3 dings for good and neutral. He dies for the gifts. That should reasonably make him dead. But luckily he is saved by his reindeer pal, Fred.
The Grinch charges into town, confessing to his crime. Lawful good, for sure, and I guess they forgive him this time.
I kind of thought you might like it.
He gives his dog a gift, and then goes to a Christmas sleepover. And with one last neutral good ding, this movie's finally over.
So to answer the question that you all are here for, which Grinch is the most evil? Well, which one did more?
Really, this question isn't hard. In fact, it's real easy. First and third movie, they're full of cartoon cheesy.
The live-action version, though, now that's real scary. He was an actual menace and should be avoided like dysentery.
And even at the end of his capastic adventures, he's still somewhat a twit, and not quite over his sadistic nature. And to its credit, even that other film kept the Grinch's personality relatively firm. He's antisocial and nervous, and though I don't agree, he does remain so, even at the end of the movie. If anything, the old version is the most drastic, but that's the point of its moral lesson. Christmas is a time for family and friends. Now is the time to count your blessings.